James Mates. Hello, Brazil. Welcome to our Virata podcast. And today we are going to have two special guests here. I have here Gennaro on my left side, and I have also the SCIALO brothers. Welcome to our Virata podcast.
Pleasure to be here. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, so this will be like a very, very spontaneous conversation, a little bit about your stories and how you also, I think most of people know you like from the background in Cabella, no? When you're being the Pujari of Shimata, you are being the Pujari in Cabella. So I think it would be nice to know a little bit more the background story and how you became like this legends of Sahaj. All right, so let's start a little bit how actually, what's your background? Where's your family comes from? So maybe
it comes from Naples. We all come from Naples, and we all came to UK in 1973, and in the end of 1973, and all the family came over, and that's how we came to UK.
Mm-hmm.
We started working. My dad was working. We started a job. They started going to school, and that's how we came in UK.
Mm-hmm. And you all came together, like all of the.
Yeah.
How many brothers actually? How many siblings?
5 plus 1 girl. 6. 6 of us. It was very hard. It wasn't easy for the beginning, as because not languages, not speaking languages and things like that. So it was quite a bit difficult. Honestly, I would come back a second day if I was by myself.
I remember that Gennaro mentioned that the when you came here, the food wasn't so great. So the first thing that came across was that the food wasn't so great.
My goodness me, yeah. I remember going to school and I was starving. I was absolutely starving. I was 15 years old. And obviously, I thought all over the world was same food or similar. And I came out with, indescribable. So I just couldn't eat anything because I hardly knew anything what they were eating. So I believe I just got some chips, some potatoes, and that's it. Really.
Yeah. But 50 years ago in UK, there used to be Tesco, Sainsbury, and things like that. You used to go in the shop at Tesco. What there was there: potatoes, bananas, apples, some lettuce, maybe cabbage. And so it was very much at all. It's not like today. You got salty fruits everywhere. But 50 years ago, it was a different life. It wasn't the same.
But for Pasquale, you came what was your...
He was quite young.
Well, I was 9. So for me, the experience is completely different. On the plane, I remember having a roast dinner. I thought, brilliant, gravy, love it. So I had mine was completely different. It was like homecoming. I didn't feel any pains or groans at all. The only thing that was difficult, of course, is a big family, and to settle, it's quite a logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So so there was 3 of us sharing a bed,
mm-hmm.
and so there was plenty of fighting for space. So that's the background, yeah. But and then life takes hold of you.
Mm-hmm.
These lot went to work. I went to school, and then I found a group of friends, and we used to play out and do what kids do in every other country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to go back to work, school myself, because I was an age of 15, so I wasn't allowed to go to work. So I had to. I think I've done 3 years, 4th, 5th, and 6th form. So
hard confinement.
it was quite hard because the language was only was the barrier. But yeah, it's pretty hard for me anyway.
So, and this experience of adaptation somehow led for seeking later?
Well, you know, seeking, for myself, I didn't know nothing about seeking. I didn't know what it meant, seeking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know it was seeking, or I never read a book about any gurus or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, as a young age, I was already, serving mass. I was in the church. I was most of the time I was there,
Mm-hmm.
And that was my searching in the way that I knew Christ and Mary and things like that, and I grew in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say something I was thinking, I don't even know the words I was thinking those days.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, when I came to England, then things started differently, And the time when I got my self-realization, it was 10 years later. 1973, 83 was 10 years later, which is, I got my self-realization. I came into such yoga.
And this was, you recognized it straight away, like when you saw the poster of Shimata?
I didn't see the poster of Shimata, but I saw a picture. I got self-realization through a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I just met it at work, was doing some work and things like that. Can I mention name or what?
Of course, you can do what you like.
Yeah. No, I was working I was working, and I went to help Victor's mum for those days. Victor was beginning on such yoga as well.
Mm-hmm.
As again, she was telling me how good such yoga is, and things like saved, his son, he had a problem, he saved him, and this and that, and the other. And they would meet someone, talk about such yoga.
Mm-hmm.
One day I went to her house with some work, and Chantal was there. Chantal came up. She was downstairs talking to Victor, brother,
Mm-hmm.
about Sergio yoga, and she came upstairs and said, "Oh, he's asked too many questions, too difficult. Leave it." She said to her mum. And I was working things like that, and then after a while, I was finished. I said to her, "I won't ask you any question. Just talk to me about it."
Mm-hmm.
And so she did. She told me who was Shimadaji. Shimadaji was Incarnational Mary, and this and that and the other. I said, okay, what do I know? Nothing. And then she says to me, well, if you want, I can give you self-realization.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? I didn't know nothing about it, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I sat on the chair. She worked on me, dressed up Kundalini, like usually, happen. And then she asked the question, can you feel a cool breeze? You look around to see if the door window was open, of course, say, well, whatever. But what happened after that, before I left, she said to me later, she said, do you want to see Shimadaji? She had a photograph in her purse. And she took it out and showed that photograph. And at that instant, it just suddenly happened. I became like a feather. I was dancing like a bird. So at that moment, everything opened up. It was incredible. I left that place. Such a joyful, wonderful, was great, incredible.
How old were you at that time?
Huh?
How old were you?
I was, I can't remember. 28.
When you were 17, 27.
Yeah, 27, 28. I left that place fantastically. And I had that photo Shimadaji in front of my eyes for 3 days and 3 nights. Because Chantal said, come to the meeting. We have a meeting on Monday and things like that. Just call me, have a meeting. And that picture of Shimadaji was in front of my face all the time, day and night. So I had to call her. And I said, what is the meeting? I said, Nilis Yard, that was meeting in Nilis Yard those days.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up that and here. And I went to the meeting and I started from there. That's nice big group was there. It was Pedro, it was this, there are lots of such jobs still around today.
Mm-hmm.
They were joyful work. Everybody was coming work. It was great. But this is something I could not remember those days. After a long time after, I remember social strategy. 6 months earlier, because I had the registration was in the beginning of March 83. 6 months later,
Earlier.
earlier, Biagio. So 6 months earlier, I went to deliver some work in the Brompton Square. That was where Shimadaji was living, 48 Brompton Square. And I didn't know where the place was. It was in the afternoon. And slowly I was driving around, one-way system and things like that. I was driving around and I was looking at the numbers, to see where I was going. And then suddenly I see a beautiful lady standing on those steps. I saw the Indian lady dressed immaculate, beautiful, immaculate dressed, all the hair up and things like that. And I looked and said, wow, such a wonderful lady. I've never seen an Indian lady dressed so beautifully. She was at those steps. I was passing. She turned around. She looked at me. And then she went in.
Wow.
That's how. I think that's when my secret started. Yep.
And then after that, you kept on going to the meetings? Or...
No, but then 6 months later, I came to start yoga. Yeah, and I went to go to the meeting, Coston Hall, where she went around and things like that. And then from there, I started to go to Shimadaji house. I started, we used to go then cleaning and, when I came back from India, all the house needed to clean and changing, so working there, and I started helping the house. And then I started driving her as well.
Wow.
And that's all started from there.
And did Gennaro or Pasquale could feel like some sort of change in Antonio, or it wasn't something that was immediately perceivable?
Well, years after, I used to go to Shudikan, obviously, quite often, and he was telling us he would go to Cambridge, this place. And I just could not understand what was all about, really. Why you keep going there, that was my question, really, to him. Why, you keep going there. Obviously, as a lot of people didn't know Antonio, he doesn't say very much. So that was my question, really. Because I wasn't seeking for anything. Or, as Antonio said, we've never been seekers. He was, to do with the church and that. I remember my mum used to dress us up and send us to church. Not obviously willing, but it was a practice which we done, my mum done. So we used to go to church all nicely dressed, hair done. So, but that's why I remember about asking Antonio why you keep going through this shooting camp and that. So, but nothing happened really.
Pasquale was the same also. Like
No. I had just like our childhood. We were like brothers but separate because my life was completely different. I was already out the house virtually. I had my own places where I lived. I used to visit home. The only thing, I had no idea about Sajoga or he'd done anything apart from once I went home to my mum, and what she said to me was, your brother's turned Indian. And I'm looking at thinking, but why? I couldn't quite get why, because you see, like at that point, what do you think, like religion, God, and all this. Yeah, okay, fine. But it wasn't like we were just living life
Yeah.
and didn't have any of this associations or about, becoming religious. It didn't mean anything, so. Yeah, so I didn't have no clue. That was the only thing I knew. Your brothers turned Indian, and that was the only thing. And that's it. And then I went off in my own realm, and we didn't really meet. Occasionally we meet around the table where we'll have dinner with my mum and what have you. And that's about it.
Vibrate the food, no?
I never saw them do anything.
No,
I never saw anything. I had no idea about anything, to be honest.
But after a while, I went to live in Surbiton because she was moved to Surbiton because they were selling the house. So we moved so many times, so many places because they had to sell Brompton Square. So I wasn't home that much those days afterwards, really.
Nor was I. Different lives, different lifestyles. I already had a family.
Okay.
So I was living, working, bringing up my own family, and also had a group of friends. All associated around Brixton and things. So,
So which brother would come first to Sahaj after in China?
I think Pasquale did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he took some of them to a program.
I told everybody. They all came to the program.
Yeah, we went to Hammersmith Town Hall in
87.
85.
Was it 85?
That was quite soon after.
Shimadaji came on the stage and she gave her a talk. But I was there, but mentally I wasn't. Even I was listening, but I wasn't interested at all. So it just went over my head, really. So that's what I remember. But quite a few of us came. My missus came, and
everybody from my family came over. My sister, my brother, Biagio, them.
Wow.
Apart from
Dominic, actually, Dominic, he was the first one at the self-realization. I had a brother, and he's the one that's not interesting at all.
He's not a believer.
Yeah, he's just. No, he's just. It's not.
He's just not interested.
Yeah,
in
he's
just not interested. He doesn't like. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, when he tells you a few story which he went through, it's very sad because he finds himself flying, and it reminds me of Blake, Wolverine, and watching people.
Did he?
Yeah,
he told me that.
Yeah, but he's like you. He doesn't say anything. You know what I mean? He just all right.
A few other things which happened. It was a dinner with his wife's grandfather, and he was in another room. And somebody said to him that he's dying, and he won't be able to do nothing about it. He went next door, and his wife, grandfather passed away. Wow. They could not do nothing about it. So this voice came to him, before the old man died. So that's another experience which he had, which he tells me. But then, and then he don't believe things.
Yeah, he's got guardian angels and all sorts. But anyway, yeah. But so
yeah, but in 1983, when I started Sat Yoga, when I started going to Shimadaji house with Hatha Sat Yoga, we used to go and clean chandeliers and polish them things, move the furniture around from left to right to left.
And down, round and round.
It was just moving things all the time. It just to play around.
Keep you busy. Like keep you busy.
Yeah, just
idle fun. Devil's work.
Yeah. No, move this there. No, move that from there. No, move on this side. No, it's better that side. All like that. He was. No. But then, she had to sell the house, sell Brompton Square. She went to live some other places. Hounslow, she went to Hounslow. She went to Surbiton. She went to David Sparrow house in the flat there in Hampstead.
Albion.
Oh, you was going to say something about Dominic?
No, Dominic is fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, but then,
No, I've said he's the only one that had the decision before everybody else.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. And, things happen there, I mean, especially it was once when they went to David Sparrow Esther house in the flat, when they welcomed Shumadachi there, it was beautiful, all things, beautiful things everywhere, And of course, they said, Shumadachi, it's your house, things like that.
And David Sparrow was the leader, no?
And that's why I was looking after yogis and also Esther and things like that, yeah. And anyway, I stayed there for a few months. I stayed there a few months and things like that. And then she had to go somewhere else. And she asked Dan here and some other surgeons she said to them, she had to leave. So I was out. I went upstairs. And suddenly when I went in, I saw that flat was completely empty. There was nothing there anymore. I said, Tanya, what's happening? Why everything is... Well, Mother told me everything is hers. So they packed everything and they left that house empty. I felt so bad about it.
Mother's play.
Except imagine it's your house. Everything is yours.
Yeah.
I felt so bad about it. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it's a lesson of detachment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know how I would be, but
when we used to go around and buy furniture, we used to go to antique shops in what's it called, in the West End. There were some old antique shops there. We used to also go to Peckham Rye, buy furniture, buy things for the ashrams, especially.
So you would go with Shumadaji?
Yeah, you would go to Shumadaji, with Warren was there as well, and Gavin Brown was there, and things like that. That's some people know who they are, things like that. And we used to go and walk in the shop and buy things for the ashram, wherever.
And food shopping, jewelry shopping, But I like the story where, the traffic lights crossing the road when we were shopping with Mother and the lights all stopped for her. Yeah.
Where was it?
Don't know. Well, you said you don't remember it now.
No,
but it's where the traffic lights changed all at once and she crossed the road. Yeah, well, we leave it as that. It's one thing, yeah. But I mean, Mother went shopping a lot.
Yeah, I used to go to Southall to go shopping for vegetables and things like that. And, saying, well, I'm teaching you what to buy and how to look at it. When you buy fresh veg, you can see how it's fresh because I won't be here all the time, so you have to do it. And so she showed me, you buy okra, what you do when it's fresh, and you buy lockies and, things like that. She was, just show me and things like that.
And this was already a preparation for you to become a Pujari?
Pujari was, no, I don't think so. That was just for me to look after probably the Mr. Shrivastava and things like that, to make sure, because she was going away for quite a long time.
Well, it came handy because you see what people may not know. When Mother bought Cabella, we used to drive all the fruits and vegetables, meats, and everything. We used to drive it from England over to Cabella, and we used to cook for the whole weekend. Every puja, I'm talking about every puja. So obviously, all the things we have to go around buying So I guess that was preparation for these moments, because we had to go and buy fruit, veg after veg, fruits.
We used to go to the Smithfield market where all the meat is. 4 o'clock in the morning, we used to go there, and she used to, so, okay, this is the lamb, look at it, that's the pink it should be, the color of it should be that kind of pink and things like that. You buy the chicken, then there used to be chili camp then, so it used to buy a lot for chili camp, vegetable, meat and everything. You used to fill up the car and go to chili camp.
Is there any example that you could give in terms of like buying some vegetables that Shimataji instructed that should be in a certain way and couldn't be another way, that people could, for example, at home try to buy some vegetables?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think you'd have to have it in your hand.
No, I think the things, just was telling me how, when some veg is fresh or not, like I told you, the meat should be that kind of pinkish, not red and things, but should be more pinkish and things like that. Those kind of things, but not really, or, eat that veg is better for you, not kind of things like that. Yeah.
And then later, when actually you became, because Madonna became Pujari first, right?
Well, that's another different story, completely altogether. Well, right from the beginning, the few pujaris I've seen, I was just looking and see what they were doing, things like that, And I got involved in look after suitcase or put things inside, we only had a small little suitcase, the puja, things like that. And so I knew a little bit what to do and whatever as preparation, not puja preparation. And I saw a few pujas, things like that. But I think it was 1984. It was in France, in Paris. It was. We all came, the group of Sagioli, and Gavin Brand said, okay, this is a suitcase where the puja, everything for the puja. The little things we had, a small little silver, a few coconuts and this and that, whatever we had it. And we went to this big hall. It was on Sunday, the puja was on Sunday, we arrived Saturday, and it was raining like hell that Saturday. So on Sunday, we were there in this hall. We all were chatting around and things like that before 12 o'clock, around midday. And then somebody just rushed for the door. I just took my suitcase and I left next to the chair. Where there was a chair there, and I left the suitcase next to the chair. That's all. I didn't know nothing what to do, what I had to do. So somebody came inside the door. He said, Mother's coming. Mother's coming in half an hour. Mother's coming half an hour, shouting. And left. And I said, okay. I looked, nothing was doing anything about the puja things. And I said to Sergio, I said, listen, Mother's coming. They prepare the puja things, Who's going to do that? Don't know. Nobody knew anything. 1 hour passed by. And this again, that's a joy came in. Mother's coming half an hour, she will be here. And again, I went to Sergio and said, listen, Mother's coming. Need to prepare the puja things. Who's doing that? Don't know. A bit more time passed by. Again, this Sergio came in. Mother's coming, half an hour will be here. I said, okay, what I got to do? I just went to the suitcase, I opened up. I took the tally, I took the coconut, I took the swastika, I took the rice, whatever I knew, I put it there, just prepared it there. And as soon as I finished, Shimataji came. I tell you, the last little things I put it down, she came inside the door. And when she came, I just went and I sit down right to the end of the third row, quite far away, right? She talked and everything. And after she talked, she nodded her head, towards my side. She went like this. Nobody moved. I looked as well, nobody moved. And she did again, like that. The head, not the head. Still, nobody moved. And the third time she did it, she went like this. And then I looked and there was nobody there. I said, me? So yes, come. So I went there. I just said, yes, mother. I said, we let the children wash the feet. So you take the towel, take the water, let the children come. And she told me step by step what to do and things like that, And that's it started in a way.
Amazing.
Because, when they were around the puja, different places, they were not, we didn't have much silver, in things, but only had those few things too, And what most things we had is actually quite important. There was a tally with all the little things. They gave her, Mother Mrs. Shrivastava, as a present, puja item. The tally, the water, the things, that was the Shrimatiji wedding present. And that's what we used to do puja with.
Wow, it was her wedding super
present. Yeah. And they have it, the tally, and the rest of it is in Cabella. They only have the tally, but the rest of it is done in Cabella. And we used to do in there, we used to do the emerald, we used to wash the feet, everything. We used to do everything that. It was all simple.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Gennaro, you were there also in this movie?
No, okay. But then, then Shrimatiji, after that's for a while, Shrimatiji said, you need some help. It's getting too much now, And then said, Jeremy Lamison was there, Chris Patmore, they started to come and help, and then Pasquale started to come and help and things like that, and slowly got more and more involving in the puja, wasn't preparing. Now preparing the puja, it's quite a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But preparing is not too bad. We've got a lot of help now.
Yeah.
But cleaning, after puja, you got to clean all the silver, polishing, make sure it's all day. So you don't lose it, whatever, especially the rings and necklace and whatever, And it's a long job, especially after puja, and everybody disappears.
Yeah, because that was one of the things what people didn't realise is that puja would be finished at 12, 1 o'clock, whatever it was, because mother was there, and then the presents, gifts, and everything else. So
it was a long puja,
and then after that you'd go to the you go and wash everything up. So that was another few hours. So the sun had risen, and you're just having a bit of prasad, and then you go to bed. So it was quite a long process in the tidying up, and still is. And
now we have more help, really.
Now there's a lot more help. Also, it's dedicated help.
Yeah.
Because what happened before, people will all be eager because they think the position looks quite nice, but then when they got into it.
Yeah, it's a different story.
It's a different story. Maybe later. But that's,
what's the whole process? So you have to clean the silver, but you have to dry it later? Or?
No, we always wash it before, even before the puja. We always wash it, clean and dry. And
is it with lemon or?
It depends what it is. It depends how,
Before the puja, you can wash it, and regularly, because after puja, then you have to put a lot of effort.
Yeah, because it's all dirty. It's all
so that's where the effort goes into. And of course, and if you dry it properly and put it away properly, then
that's very good.
Stays well. A rinse and everything is fine. And of course, that's where your toothbrush or scrubbing have to come out, to remove all that. But yeah. So that's how he started.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's how he started.
And I did the same. In '89, I went Devi Puja, and I went over and watching them cleaning up, only cleaning up because I didn't, just watching them doing things, wondering what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just standing there, looking, and he goes, "Don't put that crown on, will you?" I'm like. I've been thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? So And then, because also it was Antonio, but there was Chris Patmore there as well. So, and I was living, Chris, they invited me to live with Chris and Daryl. So we were living there. And that's why I got more involved, because I was not only Tone, I knew him barely, and I also knew Chris Patmore because I lived with him. So, I would help out and help him out and spend, all that time.
I mean, the things about puja, doing the puja, helping doing the puja, because I say, oh, you're doing the puja. No, I'm not doing the puja. Manager doing the puja. I'm helping. We are only helping, and the things happen spontaneously. You don't think about it. You can't think this, that. No, it's incredible. Things just happen. You can't think.
It's the clash of protocol and spontaneity.
You forget something. Okay, doesn't matter. That's where I have to be. And that's what you're approaching. Don't feel bad about it, or don't feel guilty about it. Oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. No, just.
Well, I'll tell you a story. Yeah, what happened. We were in. It was me, him, and Chris Patmore, the intern, and we had everything set up as normal. We normally have things in the line, and we know, what comes next. So there's Mother. So we offered the puja. We did everything. We came back. We were standing there, sitting there, whilst Mother was receiving gifts. And then we looked around and we thought, we forgot the amulet. We forgot to offer Mother the amulet. And you go, how can we forget the amulet? I mean, you think it's impossible because here you are, you've done it for years. But in that moment, 3 of you went blank, didn't even see it. So there's something beyond you that can govern you if you don't follow a rigid mindset.
Is it like playing a music, perhaps? It sounds like...
I don't know whether it's playing a music, because, you're not the musician, you're the instrument. So it's a little bit different, because you're just at a box and you're getting hit, And of course, if you don't have a mind of your own, then that musician can do whatever it wants on you.
See, but also think, Mother could say, where's the amulet? Okay? She would have said it. But she didn't. Just said nothing. Because why she would say, let's do the amulet now.
But also
she would say that. But sometimes she does say that, or do this, or let's do that, something, did not happen or whatever. She said, okay. But didn't say nothing.
Yeah, but there's a point of evolution. There's a point of movement in our aspect as well. Because one of the things is that from there on, we didn't really do the amulet so much, hardly ever. So the amulet became less important thing to do on Mother's feet. And we did it with vibrated water. After washing Mother's feet, we used the water. Because kids wouldn't rub it at that time. They would just pour. So at that point where children pour, then you could use the water for all sorts of...
Also, we had a drinking water glass as well. She used to drink water as well.
But we used to use mainly the Tully water, because we used to pour that into the amulet, make the amulet. So you see, in its own unconscious way, by the governor, or the governess, things manoeuvred and changed. And then there was no need to go that far anymore. I've done that. We don't need to that process. So you come from the Mother, where she showed you everything. You go to the Guru, which instructs. But then you go to the Devi, which just allows things to flow, and she just does her other work, which is on the vibrations or unconscious way, or works in a different dimensions. So, I felt there was that movement of evolution where you don't need so much, all this ritualism. There's still a few steps, because you've got to keep the mind happy, in the crowd. So that's my feeling as well, is that evolutionary step from the Mother to Adi Shakti, you know, so there's still movement to happen.
So there are some, let's say, steps in the protocol that were used in the beginning, but they stopped being used, and it's dynamic of the protocol in the
No, we still use exactly the same things.
Yeah,
I mean,
we got a format. Like Shrimatu gave a format, and there's a format, and you got a 4-step, thing.
I mean, it's like, when she told me, what to use a hammer, say, first give me the ghee, then the honey, then the yogurt, then things like that, step by step, what to use it. I mean, in different places, they do differently. In India, especially, completely differently. But that's what Shimadaji told me.
Yeah.
At that point, they gave me first this, then that, then that, then that. Okay, and very important thing: don't let anyone touch the emerald.
Yeah, fingers. Yeah.
Don't let anyone touch the emerald.
But also the Gauri aspect. You don't your fingers or hands, whoever's creating it or making it for the girls, you don't touch. So your hands don't go there. Your hands don't go in emerald. No one touches it,
especially the emerald.
Of course,
definitely don't let no one touch the emerald.
Yeah. Okay. So but the emerald is quite interesting because there's also a logical beyond in the way the process is, because the ghee.
What are the 4 steps? You mentioned there are 4 steps, right?
Well, you say the Ganesha Puja, the Amarut, the Gauri Puja, we call it, and then the Devi Puja, which the Devi represents also the aspect of what we worship in. So, so the Devi also is Sri Krishna. So through her, you worship Sri Krishna.
Yeah, you give it, different things,
So you adorn the Devi with some aspects of Lord Krishna in order to invocate that aspect and please that aspect within that body, which is the Devi,
The Devi puja is to give an ornament. Or things like that. Then Krishna puja, you give a fruit. You give the things. It's and that's representing Krishna puja, and the same is different kind of aspect of pujas.
Amazing. And Gennaro, were you a Pujari once, or?
Yeah, I was in Greece. I believe in 2000. Anyway, I was in Greece, and Jeremy asked me if I could help to be a Pujari. So,
it's in the DNA, man.
I was I was on the background making sure everything, the suitcases are all opening, putting stuff on the trays and that. But that's as far as I went as a Pujari.
Famous suitcase. That suitcase, we still have it.
Really?
Oh yes, I kept it. I still have it. It's a brown Samsonite suitcase. That small.
That's
it's 40 years old.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is like, having your attention and your eye on all these things that are around and been around, and being vigilant that they don't, because it's easy, when you're in the mix of everything and then you forget things. Many people have done that and things have been lost through that. So that's another aspect, you've got to have vigilance, you've got to make sure, because that's it, it's like all the anklets, toe rings. You could easily just lose your mind and be in bliss and start dancing with your mates in the crowd. And then something drops in between a flower, can't see it, disappeared, bye-bye, So, that's why, sometimes
attention should be there.
Strong attention there.
Is there a Pujari who's the, let's say, maestro or the conductor of the
he looks like he's him. You look on stage now, you see a little belly, and you go, oh, no, there's that belly standing there.
Or the ball patch.
Well, no, yeah.
No, I mean, I just keep attention, see everything, get right and get it done and whatever, you know. Yeah, but it's not just me.
Give people opportunities as well. Other people an opportunity to, don't know.
And any amazing experience that you had, like perhaps doing cleaning the silvery or doing the puja as Pujari?
I don't know. There could be so many things.
But usually you have to be like, I imagine, I mentioned the musician aspect because you are completely doing the thing you are not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like that. So you just finished your piece, okay? But you're totally engulfed in your piece. Yeah? Once you've done your piece, and you took your bow, let's say, okay, and you moved away, then suddenly you can feel all this energy within you, or lightness, or and that's the still thing, because what happens is that 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, when you're sitting around the table and you'd finished just having a bit of a start, then you can feel the amount of energy that is in you, and you can feel like all these vibrations, but they're just not only in you, around you, and there's a feeling of it's like I say to everyone, it's amazing because after a puja, it's like my hair's so soft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's so it's so soft. It's weird, in a sense, but that's how it is. But also you feel it all over your body, your skin and everything. So yeah, I think that's the main thing that you get constantly, moments when you look at Shimataji, you're sitting there, Shimataji's talking after you've prepared, and you have moments where you're engulfed in her. Because, Mother, when you walk with Mother, she's a tiny little Indian lady. But on stage, she just seems like she takes the stage. So there's a persona also that all of a sudden she's this grandeur, she really is. And you see that face, and I'm looking at face from the side, and you see this huge figure, with this kind of hook nose, because to me, she always looked an ancient indigenous American, from the side profile. Yeah. I always had that. For me, that was more relevant and came out from that side view.
Very often,
sometimes you look huge, and sometimes when you can see her talking, and you just get that feeling that it's far. She's not talking to us. You're not talking. She's talking to probably the divas, or she's definitely not talking. It's far. It's not here. It's something a bit more beyond. You get all the intuition or feelings, that all of a sudden you feel, and it's in you, but you can't totally comprehend it. It doesn't, some people may be able to find words for it, and some are very poetical, but we're not so poetical, so things don't come out so, flowery, I guess. I mean?
Some people, one word they can make to 1,000.
Well, also one experience could be, and I think what's so beautiful about, Shimataji, there is all that, but it's not like, it's like what people make out, things, what can you say? It's not so, well, it's Maya, because it's not so profound. Oh, where like everybody's like, no, it's got many people. It can be, someone can be in awe. Most may not, and others can have similar experiences. So all different experiences all at once. So it's just.
It's also probably depends on the person.
Yeah, and yeah.
No, I was thinking a story. I was thinking
please
something.
do.
When it was Surbiton, it was the beginning of St. George's, and it was 84 something. We moved it down there. And she asked me, said, I need to do a foot soak. Can you get me something from the foot soak? You know, look all around the house. Couldn't find nothing. I could find only a plastic bowl, you know. And I filled it up. I said, you know, Adi Shakti should not really have a foot soak in plastic. And said, can't find nothing. He said, okay, you can't find nothing. He said, it's all right, we do it. You know, and she did a foot soak in there. And after the foot soak, he said, give the water to the plants, go around to the plants. And I went around. I took the bucket in the water. I put my hand inside and throw it around like this. After 2 minutes, I couldn't put my hand. It was so cold.
Really?
Was so cold, that water. I couldn't do it. I just took the water and throw it like that because I could not put my hand inside the water.
Wow.
And then after the next day, I said, oh, but we good idea to the foot soak in the same bucket where she had a foot soak. Okay. So I fill it up with water in the bathroom like that. I pull it out. As soon as I pull it out, broke in two parts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. I said, I thought you should not do that. I should not do that. I should not use the same football, the same ball. Imagine I had a foot soak inside to use the personal things. It just picked up like this and it split in two. Just went pour like this.
And the water wall.
When inside the bathroom, we went inside the bathroom because I was inside the bathroom. It was incredible.
Protocol.
Yeah, protocol. Protocol. That was amazing. When that happens, wow, I say it myself. Incredible.
And you learn.
Yeah.
You pick up these messages, you know.
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest challenges, I think, in Sahaj is this Mahamaya, because we have, like the reality is, like physically working normally as we see things. And then suddenly the small things you see that, look, reality is not exactly how we perceive it.
Yeah. But, some of you think if we have to start all over again now, like we know what we know now, it could be completely different things altogether.
It'd be more
what we learn, what we learn now, what we know about mothers, things like that, if we really knew right from the beginning, it would be a completely different story.
No, I mean, look, maybe others probably think the same. I'm not sure, people that have been around Mother, welcome Mother and served Shamaji. When Shamaji leaves the country, you're there for about 2 days beating yourself up. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Stupid fool, Then 3 months later, Shamaji lands in London and comes home. Suddenly you're blank again, and you serve and do things and whatever and soon so in that sense you're better off being a clean slate, so that you don't have all these concepts, and it's like some of the leaders can go and sit with Mother and they will chat and chat and chat and they will talk back and they will, they had the authority, maybe they were given that authority, but in certain aspects you're better off not. There are liberties like protocols, maybe we would have been split in half. So it makes it easier to serve. It makes it easier to serve and do things without too much bogged into what's right and what's wrong and how you should be, and all that polite, that stuff that actually just it's a trick within your mind, that doesn't allow that beauty of just being
spontaneous
wherever you are, because that's the beauty of it. Created by God, okay, there's all these human elements in it. You're still that, that thing, that mood within this pool, maybe even through mud, but it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nobody else but you. And that's beautiful. And that's the other thing is that, what is, I mean, this is God's world. It's all beautiful, really. Do you know what I mean? So what are we looking for? Are we looking for a superhuman state, superhuman world? Something completely different? Isn't this not God's creation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bring the human element in it, and then you got chaos. You know what I mean? Forget it. Push that aside a second. You know what I mean? Because, So anyway, what I'm saying really is that sometimes people look too much at the extraordinary to impress themselves, to impress something within them, and they can't just see normal. And I was telling someone earlier on is that I was, when you listen to Shemati's 1979 talk where she announced herself, and then she says, "In my complete form and complete powers." And you then look at Shemati, and you think about you sat with another, but that was complete form and complete power within that. And then you stand still and you think, man, that's too mind-boggling, because you want to see the complete form. What is this complete form? That was a complete form. You know what I mean? It was like, that is everything's within that. But you want to open it up and look because you're intrigued, or you want to be intrigued, or your ego wants to be intrigued. But you can't just see within that everything's there in that simplicity.
Like, I think probably a lot of times when we imagine like the times of Jesus or times of Christ, we think that everyone would recognize him, but probably it wasn't.
You said the word imagine.
Yeah.
That is the key. The key is that we try and do this thing, I personally feel, imagine, which is great, a bit of intuition, a bit of, imagination, or, going into a sphere of, it's like, reading a comic book and going into that sphere and being part of the story and imagining, with the goddess with the, the 8 arms chopping the demons to pieces and whatever, Yeah, it's imagination, which is hysteric reality. But I don't know. Within this world, I think, it's, you can play about too much with that imagination and lose it.
Remember that story that you told me once about Shemati was eating pistachio? Is it pistachio or
Chana?
Chana, yeah, exactly. Can you tell that story? I think it was very nice.
I don't know if it was my story.
Yeah, no, because you were saying that Shemati was she was eating, and then you could see like the blood or something like coming out.
I know my story on that with Chana. That was when I went to a public program in Naples.
All right.
We were walking with Shemati, and as she's walking to the front, and as she's doing that, she's collecting flowers, and the flowers were all roses, but they had thorns on them.
Oh,
which a few of them pricked me, and that's how I knew it. That was another amazing thing, which is I grabbed these roses. She gave them to me, and they were pricking, and then she did not even. There was not even a frown or anything. There was always just a smile walking through the crowd. And as she's walking through the crowd, I saw her with her left arm. She just went sideways, boom, with her hand. She grabbed something. And as she's walking along collecting the flowers, I see her with her thumb push it like this. And I thought to myself, I'm a boy, a child. I've been there. I've had things in my hand, when they try to slip away, because we used to catch
heels.
Not eels, no, ranette.
Frogs.
Yeah, lizards. We used to catch little lizards, and they used to try and escape, and we used to push them back in. Anyway, so there she was. She went up to the chair and she turned around, and you know, she sat down. And as she sat down, I saw her just throw this thing in her mouth. You know, she just went, and then namaskar. You know, as if nothing happened. But I'm like that, like watching every step, because I saw something and I was intrigued, you know, what's going on, what's happening. And then I was watching her and collecting the flowers, and then as she sat down,
another time we had it was probably in South Pole somewhere. We had to move. She had a huge, big wardrobe, enormous, as tall as this wall and big as this. And she wanted to push it towards the end of it a bit. Mm-hmm. We're about 3 or 4 hours. We tried to push it. We couldn't do it. We tried to push it just a little bit, couldn't push it. And then I told Miss Mother, she said, you know, we asked the madam, I said, Madam, we couldn't do it, it's too heavy. And then I said, try again. So suddenly, just went. I turned around, and I saw like a magic come back to the body. I had that second, I saw humanity gone back to her physical body.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about, you know,
I heard like this. What happened?
Yeah.
It just went. We couldn't do it. Suddenly, it just went. And I was so amazed, just where I turned around quickly, you know, systematically, and I saw her go inside the body.
Hmm. I mean, some other yogis have stories.
And it was the same form? Was it the same
form?
Yeah,
so it's but like the transparent things, you know.
All right. Yeah.
And just so it got to her physical body.
Yeah.
I thought humanity inside her physical body.
Yeah. Wow. And this story, which humanity
the chanas are, you know, where the old yogi, you know, where she says, but she said, you know, you don't know how many boots I have to eat. So the dry chana would soak up blood. You see, so you don't know how many boots I have to eat. So that's the old yogis tells stories like that. Mm-hmm. And I think they have a few of those ones where, you know, the chana was part of the crushing of their bones, their souls, bones. They don't have any. Yeah, she, you know. But I saw that one in Naples where she swallowed, you know, I saw her throw it. Something, because I didn't see anything physical, you know, in that way. Very, very interesting. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I just love, you know, that's the thing, you know, the ordinary, you know, I think, you know, I don't know, I think that's very powerful. The fact is that, you know, everything was just so normal, so ordinary a lot of the time. Yes, there was vibrations, there was an energy there, definitely. But at the same time, it was just so normal. Mm-hmm. So that's that's the hard thing to explain. You know, there is a vortex that you walk in. Definitely, when you come from outside, there is something that you walk in, and it's a different atmosphere. It's a different, completely, you know. But the normality when you're in there, I think that was the most beautiful bit. Mm-hmm. It's just so natural. You know what I mean? You didn't have to be on your tiptoes or scared in a corner. You know, I mean, I did see Mother like one way, you know, in Italy, where we walked in, and it was like a beam. She was just beaming, and my goodness, you know what I mean? I think all my bones were shaking. You know, I was like, oh my God, still namaskar.
As she was shining,
beaming. It was that. And she was sitting, you know, like that, you know, on the sofa, and probably the sun was coming through, but she looked huge, but beaming, sun. Yeah. And you're like, scream.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
I know another time when Mother was in quiet moments, I walked into the room and she looked at me, but in these newer times where like Mother wasn't talking, but she had that fierce look where there was no expression, just eyes like this, staring at you, not a smile, not a frown, nothing. And just the eyes were, and I walked in, then my eyes were like, boom. And I'm like,
oh my God, what's happening?
And so I walked backwards, shut the door. I'm not going there. But she didn't say anything. It was no fear. It was just, like, it was like, whoa. It was like that. It's like, all your body was alert. I mean, she phoned up, she phoned Ealing once. I used to do tapes in the basement, so I would run up and down. And one day, the phone ring. So I ran down, picked up the phone, hello. And it was Shimataji. And Shimataji goes, oh, hello, Mother. So I was on the phone, standing there. And as Shimataji was speaking, I felt myself calm. But then I felt myself still. But then in the moments where she was saying things and I was saying, yes, Mother, no, Mother, I felt like every cell in my body stood still. And that was a physical sensation. Even though I would respond to Mother, I wouldn't, it wasn't a conversation. It was Mother saying things. And I was saying, yes, Mother. Yes, no. But everything in me was absolutely motionless. And I knew it. Standing there. And then I said, okay, namaste, Mother.
And then after you could hang everything, the cells start to move again.
I'm still for a second. What's happening?
Well, I was doing converting of the reels to digitalizing, so I would run down in the basement, deal with the reel-to-reel and the computer. So, yeah, no, you had that. It was amazing, and then life carries on.
Is that second look you see that something extraordinary, and then suddenly you're back? Gennaro, you had any experience like this as well? Like,
not really, because I only saw Shimaji a couple of times, quite close in a way, really. So it's just it's work in healing, doing work healing, Lota, and so just wanted to go and buy some flowers or some roses for the Canadian ashram. They phoned him up and you buy some roses for Shimataji. So we went around the gardens and then buy some roses, which they perfumed roses. And we took one of them, or a couple of them, into Mother's room, and she was watching, obviously, she loved tennis. She was watching tennis. It was Wimbledon that time. And we just obviously, Lota talked to Mother. So Mother is from the Canadian collective for your house. And that's, obviously I was just there, and it was amazing, obviously, but nothing experienced like them too.
Well, natural experiences. I mean, there were beautiful moments, and you can elaborate on this, and go to town. And I know, some people can, they got they probably read a dictionary a few times. So they can do that. But, I just love the simplicity. That's
And one thing that Antonio was saying about you know, like how if we could have the opportunity to come back in time, I was like back in time to do it again. But it's interesting because in the last pujas with Shimataji, we could see already technology much more developed, so people would film now with their mobile phones. So at the same time, it was good that people were not filming now and doing pujas and things like that.
No, they were filming in the puja. They were always filming.
No, but I mean, like
people.
But,
Oh, you mean? Oh, you mean?
General people
Oh, yeah. No, they weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to. I mean, it's like photography.
Maybe now you're not allowed.
No, but then she stopped, photography, take photographs, for a while.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Because what happened, people did swarm the stage and took photographs, and that was allowed for a little bit, and then that was enough. Then there was one person allocated to take photographs. There was a chap from Austria who had that opportunity to do that, and maybe one or two others, but yeah, she stopped it because it was
Too much.
It was because also, after puja you're getting a prasad.
I mean,
prasad vibrations. You're sitting there, and then suddenly, even if you're getting past you, to get a photograph.
Even through the picture when she was, the beginning of when we came to SCIALO, beginning of non-puja, she used to actually pose for it. The eyes, they were supposed to put, with the mirror or the comb, just, allows her to take pictures. Because that was the time when you had to let them do this kind of thing.
The motherly aspect.
Understand? She was showing herself. She actually was posing to actually waiting for them to take pictures. Then after, she stopped it. She stopped it.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to take pictures during the puja.
By the beginning, she was allowed. She was actually posing for you to take pictures. Especially.
There was also one saying that people usually would say after the pujas, like Shimataji, we wish you a long life and health. But then at some point also it stopped. Like Shimataji mentioned.
I don't know if it was
These things just happen by various yogis. They may come up with these
something.
It's like the Lakshmi baskets. It just turned up one day. And
no, but Shimataji asked. Shimataji did say. She did ask.
16, 18.
No. She asked, when you come, you should come. You should offer something. When you come to call me, when you come to call me for the puja, you should bring me. You should bring to like Lakshmi basket. She called Lakshmi basket for it.
Preparations to prepare.
Yeah, you actually offer flower. You have friends, ask her to, to come to a puja, things like that.
Yeah,
but a Lakshmi basket that then become,
it was named Lakshmi basket afterwards. Yeah, okay. It wasn't called Lakshmi. Just bringing some things to. It's like getting ready. You're getting ready.
So you actually ask him that.
You
to come over. Inviting her to come to the puja if she wishes to,
Yeah.
And what I found also very interesting is that you're coming from Italy, and Italy is also very much connected to the worship of the Holy Mother, to the Holy Virgin Mother Mary, and it's interesting that there is somehow this connection because this was much stronger in the Catholic countries than in Protestant countries.
Yes, in Protestant countries, there isn't.
No, not at all. Far from it. My mum would always say, Amarona da compagna. That means may the goddess accompany you. So the goddess has always been, the Madonna has always been at the forefront of everything in movement and everything. Like, may the goddess accompany you.
Every one of us used to obviously go out from the house. I used to say, "Ma, I'm going," and she used to say, the word "Amarona da compagni." So Mary will be with you for the journey, if you like. So
yeah. So yeah, the association of the goddess, the mother, and that was one of the first things. You see, being, I suppose, from this side of the world, God doesn't appear on earth. It's something beyond a universal thing, So you can't just come from, seeking and then find God. It's quite difficult. You find personality that represents, like Christ would be a personality that represents, but not God himself. It's like, there's another, you think there's another, so, so you associate Mother with Mary was quite easy, very easy.
Yeah, it's interesting because it happens very similar feeling in Brazil and in South American countries because of the Catholicism. So when people recognize Virata, say, she's Virgin Mary, she's Mother Mary. So
always always that recognition is very fast. But God is a little bit of a journey. That's the journey.
Yeah, because there are no others. They're not like God incarnates as such. And all these things, they're dead now. Usually they have to die to become sent. So
and most of them are not even saved anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So so the association is very, very easy, because of that background and the instillment of the Mother Mary was constantly narrated at the house,
it still is,
but not forced. I mean, I would say I didn't go to church like he mentioned. I'd go to church because we had to. If there was a christening or there may be a wedding. Other than that, I was fall asleep outside the church more than inside the church.
We're too young anyway.
So
no, but when you come to England, I never went to the church in England because I didn't know any. Well, they were around, but I never went to the church in England. But in Italy, I was always there.
Yeah, he was going to be the priest.
Hey, priest.
He was almost.
Yeah. One question now, because we spoke a little bit about the journey with Pujaris. So, but how do you see more or less this evolution of Sahaj along the years? And now, for example, our attentions are so much bombarded with so much information on the mobile phones, and it gets a little bit harder, I think, for people to focus. How do you see this movement going on? I remember even that Uncle Gregoire mentioned that he thought that by the age that his son would be a grown up, we wouldn't need to go to the army because the world would be Sahaj. And it didn't happen. As we planned, it's always like this. Like, always a game, I think, of the divine. How you see this evolution now in the future?
The growth inside yoga. It's not easy. I think it will take a long time. Look at us. Once against each other sometimes, things like that. Disagreement all the time and this and that and the other. So it's a long time to grow. Really, I think it would take quite a while, really, to establish that job in a way that, we should be.
Yeah. It's funny because you can't have an argument without hatred. Why not? Why can't you have an argument without hatred? You can have an argument, brotherly argument, all right? And you don't have to hate different point of views, but here you are. No, Sahaj, the evolution of Sahaj, obviously, Mother's built it up, I think these guys were a lot more intensive, and maybe because Shmataji pulled them in to do things constantly. Like he said, move that chair there. Oh, no, not there. And put it over there. No, take it upstairs. Maybe it's better in my bedroom. No, don't put it there. Put it downstairs. Now, to any rational mind, that's completely crazy. Why would you want to make? But you see, she kept them busy, kept them moving. Like I said, idle funds. So, and I think that's an important aspect. So if people get involved much more participate in the everyday things. Like when you come to Puja, you know, you're going meet your mates and have a chat and chat, ice cream and chat. But if you're participating in the process, the Puja process and the venue and everything else, you know what I mean? Then that richness of what you're there for starts to imbibe in you, you know. And that's the bit where maybe I think it's tailing off a bit, the involvement in the movement of Sahaj in its raw form, not just standing up, you know, in the Royal Albert Hall and giving a lecture, you know, to about 68,000 people, you know. That's all, you know, that's all people dream of, you know, just sweeping up the floor, you know. Let's start from the basics. Clean house, clean room, you know, clean your teeth. So I think, you know, that personally, that's what I think, you know what I mean? It's
I mean, a lot of things happening really around the world. Yeah. You know, there is a lot of things happening, you know,
today.
But really, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's happening, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
Really. We cannot just win the world just like that.
Did she matter to say something, or for sure sometimes these conversations are private, but I don't know if she matter said anything that would give a hint more or less of how things would unfold and develop in the future.
Another thing, I mean, the example is not, she told the Sajogi, you know, the Italian Sajogi said, you know, 2025, it will be, it said, no, it will be the Third World War, and 2025 will be world peace for a long time. For after 25, it should be a world peace all around. It will last for a while. But we still have to see if that happens or not.
Because, you know, look, you know, when we came so hard, you know, there was Kali Yuga, you know, for all the gore, you know. Oh, then Mother announced, you know, the Satwa and thing, and you thought, wow, you know. And then you look at the world and you think, where is the Satwa? Hang on a minute. Of course, you know, Satwa is revealing.
Yeah.
You know, you have to reveal the darkness in order to expose. And the trouble is, it's ugly, but you have to reveal it in order for you to change. So here we are, we're still in the ugly. And the other thing I did, you know, talking about Mother and Mars, you know, Pluto, you know, and Pluto, you know, the planet of, you know, war. But it's because, you know, the whole thing is about regeneration. But unfortunately, you know, when you lift up your couch, you may find, you know, half of your rubbish is under there, you know what I mean? You know, lost papers or whatever. So you have to sweep up. But it looks ugly to start with.
But there is for sure also some connection, like outside and inside the yogis as well. And like we are deeply impacted also by the world outside, isn't it? We are not, you know, like in the Himalayas.
No, we are part of it. The world is outside, definitely. We're living in it.
Can you see the notice, Ben? God, keep getting punched and kicked. Man, it's still a battlefield. Psychologically, especially.
I think if Sajogi becomes united, you know, really live it together, be together, work with each other, I think it will be quick transformation. But if we keep disagree with each one another for doing things or happening, then it will take a long time. You've got to be together. I mean, the Puja and Cabella, they're just as wonderful as it is when Mother was there. No vibration. You know, no, I do it home with Puja because why should I go there? No, it's a difference. It's a collective. If you're not collective, vibration get lost. There won't be vibration anymore. So we're going to lose that quality.
Mother said that many a times.
Understand? So we have to be collective. Yes, Cabella, it is what it is. It's, you know, we have to be collective to make not to destroy it. The vibration of life. Because if nobody goes there, no one, the things will die in a way. And you can't let it die.
Not just Cabella, it's everywhere around the world where, you know, you gather for the nucleus. As she says, you become the nucleus in order for her to be able to work through. Because when you become the nucleus, you know, and
even if we disagree each other, but work on each other, work for each other, you know, collective work. Disagreement, they always but work with each other.
You know, collectives is like a clean field. If you get a clean field, one piece, you can repair. You know, get 2 pieces, you can repair. But if you get 10 pieces, it's almost impossible to reap. So collectivity is like that. Obviously, more people they are collective, the more stronger you become. So as I said, you know, you got to be collective, not just all the subjects, all throughout.
That's the title, see? Virata. See?
Yeah, that's true.
Virata. Virata is the here, you know, and it is a collective consciousness. You know, when we become together, we go into work on that collective consciousness. We become one.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, you know, so, you know, it's got, you know, there's some dynamics behind working everything. We don't know. We just have to make sure we behave in the right manner, you know, and treat everybody like you want to be treated, as Christ said. You know, do not unto others that you wouldn't have done unto yourself. You know, very simple, nothing more. Have an argument, but don't hold grudges. It's all right.
Wow, fantastic. So I think maybe it's a good opportunity now that you mentioned Virata, to talk to everyone who doesn't know. Like, we have 2 books with interviews, like the wonderful interview that we just had now. This first book is the yellow one. We have interviews with like yogis like Uncle Wolfgang Harkov from Austria, Maria Amélia from Portugal and Switzerland, Marina Eduardo Marinho from Brazil. And also we have the second one, the blue one, that also has interviews like with Alan Wary. We have Emmanuel Schultz, Money, you might know. Luis Garrido as well. So this is the books you can get. I will leave this link in the description that you can get on Amazon. And so I don't know now if there is any final message you want to send to the collective, because we are getting to the end of our interview.
Well,
enjoy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, with this podcast, you got 3 for the price of 1. So, well, I mean, there's a lot more. Of course, you can talk and whatever, but you know, but it's just down to questions, really. It's always good to, you know, have questions, and you know, it helps to bring things out.
Yeah, I mean, also I want to, probably all of you might have notes. Lila is here. She's actually editing here in real time the interview. I don't know if you have any questions, Lila, for them after this wonderful interview, if there is any experience.
No, I'm so in a state of joy and peace.
State of joy and peace. Okay, so thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I think we have to finish with some Napolitana song.
Tarantella.
Yammo, 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 Funicula, funicula. Yammo, yammo, funicula.
Wow.
Bravo. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, it was joyous bliss.
Dee-dum-da-dum, dee-dum-da-dum-dum.